Hello, today we are going to put video on a wall. It's going to be thrilling. First thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a new composition. We're going to put it in the worst quality format that I can find. No, we'll do it like this. Okay. Once we have this, we're going to import the video that you're going to be working with. In this particular case, I am importing the video of me walking down the hall, and I'm going to import one more file. It's the video that I will be putting on the wall.
Do it in section. Yeah, video on the wall. A video on a video on a video.
So I think for this particular one, we will put, we could put him
No.
and him. And, we got, well, I think in here, we need to just put this one as very nice. Very nice. Okay, to start, what we're going to do is we're going to pull this one down here. Okay? And when you're working with this, it's the 3D stereoscopic sort of thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, I'm going to cut my video back there I'm going to be using. We can bring this back after the fact, but the blue is going to be the section that it's going to analyze for. And we only want the section that has that particular picture frame for this particular project. So what we're going to do is, this is one of the built-in effects actually within Adobe After Effects. It's called the 3D Camera Tracker. What it's going to do is it's going to take a couple of minutes and it's going to try and crash Adobe After Effects here in about a second on this particular computer. But what it does is it analyzes the background. What it's looking for is areas where there's a pretty high contrast in the colors pixel by pixel. So it looks at each frame pixel by pixel, and it is looking for areas where there is high contrast and where the camera, as it moves through space, it's able to detect if it is a flat surface this way on a plane, a flat surface on the X, Y, or Z axes. And when I say X, Y, or Z, this is like for math, and we're talking about coordinate planes.
Yes.
And so we know that the bottom axis is the X axis, and we know the one that goes up is the Y. And then the one that comes at your face is the Z axis or Z. Z axis. Yeah.
What's the difference between C and
Z and Z. Well, I would say a lot of the people that have language origins from the British Isles are going to say Z versus America, where it's Z. So what it's going to do is it's going to take a little bit of time for this to analyze. I'm going to let this pause. So we've go ahead and we've let the analysis of the background occur. What we're going to be able to do is scrub through this, and you're going to notice that the dots track with the video.
That's so cool.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrub over to this area, and we're going to notice that there is quite a bit of a contrast in the colors on this particular area, which is a good thing. What you'll see is we have several different dots and several different targets. What you do is you pull in the areas between them, it starts to make triangles, and it shows you the planes between those triangles. And you're going to notice that almost all of these triangles show that that is a flat wall. As you get down a little bit lower between some of these others, it's recognizing that that's probably a shelf, and it changes the plane such that it is at an angle. So what we're going to do is we're going to find one of these that looks really good. I like this one right here. That looks really nice because there's a decent amount of space between the triangles, and when there's more space, it indicates that there's probably a more certain level of just relative flatness. So once you find your point, you'll click with the right click. You can then, or with the left click, and then you right click. What you're going to be creating is a null and a camera. a null in the camera, and that would be a null layer, a null object. We already know that null object is a nothing something, so we'll create a nothing something. And you'll notice it has dropped that nothing something as well as a camera onto here. It is a three-dimensional object. If it's not showing up there, you can toggle your switches and you'll be able to find it. Okay, so what we'll then do is we will be going back to our clip library, our project library. Okay, and we have our various clips up here that we will be working with. I think we gotta start with this one. We will pull it to the top, and we will see that that clip has then been deposited oh so nicely into our video. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drag this over such that it's right over the end point of this video. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll a little bit to the right. Okay. What we are going to do is then resize it just a touch, and we'll get it so it's relatively close to where we want it to be within here. And I'm actually going to go to where it's pretty flat. Ah, yes, this will work well. So what we're going to do is right now, this video here, this one that's blinking at you, is flat. It's a two-dimensional video. First thing we're going to do is we are going to parent it to that null layer. What that means is it's going to track with that null layer. And it's not going to do it right now because it's not three-dimensional. A three-dimensional object cannot track with a non-three-dimensional object. So what we're going to do is we'll back out and we're going to make it a three-dimensional object. Now, the reason I backed out is a lot of times when you make it into a three-dimensional object, it jumps down here and you'll be like zoomed in. You'll be like, where did my video go? It's disappeared on me. Just back out a little bit and bring it back. Don't get too excited that you disappeared. You thought you were saved by it disappearing. Oh no. Okay? What I recommend that you do is you try and get your video to the closest center point that you can find to it being centered, and then you will resize it. Okay? What I would then do is that you can click here and go to your transform. You can then give it a little bit of a rotation if you need to, and that's using the Z rotation, and I think that looks nice right there. And you'll bump it just a little. Oops, I got the wrong one. We'll go here and we'll bump it just a little bit to the right. Now, the next thing you need to do to make this look a little more fluid is you back up on your timeline, and you'll notice that it is good there, but not so good over here. The reason is that you need to move it back on the Z-axis. So as you push that back, it's going to get smaller. You're going to have to resize it. And you check as you go. In fact, that might be one of the first things you do is kind of resize it such that it's in the middle the entire time. Okay, once you've got it okay on the Z-axis, like push back far enough, just make it a little bit bigger, resize it back in there. You can check it again at that point to make sure it's not sliding on you. And it's a little bit better. And you can mess with it until you have it absolutely perfect. So, and what you can do at this point is if you have a video that's shorter than the entire length of your video, you can actually, you could stretch it, or you could just copy it. I'm going to go up to edit. I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to go to edit, and I'll paste it back in there. So now I got two layers of it. I'll just bump this one over to there. And because I copied the video that I'd edited to that particular region, it's going to retain the copied settings. So it's going to go slow this first time through as it renders. And you can make adjustments at this point. but you'll see that the video is playing. It's playing as you walk. It's changing the perspective as you walk. You're going to want to fine tune some adjustments in terms of pulling it back to the Z-axis, moving it on the X and Y axes. But you're going to see that it's, for a 10-minute job on this, it's come out pretty well. Certainly you could spend another 5 minutes, make some adjustments such that it was perfectly perfect. Like on that edge, do you see how the tile was showing? You're going to want to pull that a little bit further back on that Z-axis so that you don't have this showing right here. Okay? The other thing you can do, of course, is you can right-click, you can add text. I'm starting with 2D text, and let's type in what word here? Piracy. Let's do AAVN. Good choice, whoever said that.
No one said that.
I'm pretty sure someone did. I'm going to track it to that null 1 layer, and then of course I make it a 3-dimensional layer. We'll put it up here for now, and let's zoom in just a little bit. Not a whole lot. Again, you're going to mess with the Z-axis, the X-axis. And it has AAVN on the wall. So I'm asking you to include 2 elements, a video of your choice on the wall, a word of your choice on the wall. I'll have a turn in on Edmodo for the word / picture / video on the wall. You'll turn that in. I want to see your motion text turn in as well. I will stop recording.